A very simple form of self-regulation would have been to wait. Perhaps you could have saved the message, taken a walk, had a cup of tea, or simply waited until the next morning. The circumstances might not have changed, but your emotional state might have changed considerably. Self-regulation does not mean suppressing every emotion. It means creating sufficient space between the emotion and the action so that we can choose our response. 3. Internal motivation. The third component is internal motivation. This is a passion to work for internal reasons that go beyond money and status, which are external rewards. It may arise from an inner vision of what is important in life, the joy of doing something, curiosity about learning, the sense of flow that comes with being immersed in an activity, and the propensity to pursue goals with energy and persistence. The hallmarks include a strong drive to achieve, optimism even in the face of failure, and organizational commitment. Consider a person learning to play a musical instrument. At the beginning, progress may be very slow. There may be no money, recognition, or social status involved. Yet the person continues practicing because he or she enjoys learning. The satisfaction comes from the activity itself. The same principle can apply to education, scientific research, writing, teaching, art, service to others, or almost any worthwhile activity. A person motivated only by external rewards may stop when the reward disappears. A person with strong internal motivation can continue even when the reward is delayed. The 4. Empathy. The fourth component is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand the emotional makeup of other people and the skill to treat people according to their emotional reactions. Its hallmarks include expertise in building and retaining talent, cross-cultural sensitivity, and service to clients and customers. In an educational context, empathy is often thought to include or lead to sympathy, which implies concern, care, or a wish to soften the negative emotions or experiences of others. Let us consider a simple example. A student who normally performs well suddenly begins performing poorly. One teacher may say, "You are becoming lazy. You must work harder." Another teacher may first ask, "Is something troubling you?" Perhaps the student's parents are having difficulties. Perhaps the child is being bullied. Perhaps there is some other problem that the teacher cannot see. The second teacher has not necessarily lowered the standard expected from the student. Instead, the teacher has tried to understand the emotional condition behind the behavior. That is empathy. Empathy does not mean agreeing with everything another person does. It means trying to understand what that person may be experiencing before deciding how to respond. 5. Social skills. The fifth component is social skills. Social skills mean proficiency in managing relationships and building networks, together with the ability to find common ground and build rapport. The hallmarks of social skills include effectiveness in leading change, persuasiveness, and expertise in building and leading teams. A successful leader, for example, cannot simply give instructions. The leader has to understand people, communicate with them, resolve disagreements, encourage cooperation, and build trust. A family also provides a good example. In a family disagreement, winning an argument may not necessarily mean achieving a successful outcome. Sometimes the more important objective is preserving the relationship while solving the problem. Therefore, social skills are closely connected with the way we manage our own emotions and respond to the emotions of others. Ancient Wisdom and Modern Emotional Management. Daniel Goleman also had useful discussions with His Holiness the Dalai Lama to share knowledge on emotions and emotional management and on how ancient philosophy could be incorporated and introduced to people to help them manage their emotions. Several other prominent scholars from the West also participated in these discussions with him. These discussions demonstrate something important. The problem of emotions is not confined to one culture. Modern Western psychology has made important contributions to understanding emotions. At the same time, ancient Eastern traditions have explored the mind, emotions, and human behavior for many centuries. Therefore, there is value in examining both approaches.